What is going on, guys? My name is HollowPoiint, and thank you guys so much for tuning back into my channel. Today I am bringing you guys another best class setup, and on today's best class setup we're going to be talking about the IMR assault rifle. Now, I know a lot of you guys have asked me to do a best class setup for the IMR assault rifle, so today I'm going to be bringing you guys my best class setup for this weapon, and hopefully this class setup helps you guys, get better gameplays and overall have a better Call of Duty experience. Alright, so getting into today's class setup for the IMR, obviously here for the primary weapon we have the IMR itself, and then following it down to the attachments we have the following. We have the foregrip, the silencer, and the red dot sight. Now, the reason why I choose the foregrip for this weapon is because I know that this weapon is not the best in accuracy, but it's not the worst in accuracy. And if you guys decide to put a foregrip, it'll actually give you an additional 3 points and it'll put up your accuracy at 12. So that is pretty damn high for, a weapon like this. Now, another reason why I decided to go on with the foregrip is that this weapon is a 4-round burst weapon, and sometimes when trying to tap the trigger and aim at the same time, your aim can get a little fidgety. So, the foregrip always comes in hand when, when it comes to weapons like this. So definitely I find myself using the foregrip a lot of the times with this weapon, and I find it very useful actually. Right, and the next attachment that we have for the IMR here is the suppressor, and a lot of you guys who watch my best class setup videos and my actual gameplays, that I am a firm believer that there is no reason for you to give your position away to the enemy teammates, just like that. So it's always good to run a suppressor so you guys can stay stealthy, undercover, and at least be able to manage to get yourself on a good kill streak and overall have a better KDR per game, and of course have a better Call of Duty game itself in general. Right, and the final and third attachment for the IMR that I decided to put is the red dot sight, simply because, I know the sights on this weapon are pretty good, but just because it is, a 4-round burst weapon, I believe that every time I have a weapon that is, round burst wise, like the ARX, or the actual IMR itself, I think that it is always better and more beneficial to run a red dot sight because it'll always help you to be a little bit more accurate. And in these weapons that are, not fully automatic, it is very beneficial to be as accurate as you can. Now, another attachment that I've looked into is actually the stock adjustment for the IMR. Now, I know I don't have it in this class setup video because I personally can do without it, but if you guys feel like you need a little bit more skill, your skill's not up there yet, and you feel like you need a little bit more help, and you feel like the stock adjustment is your bread and butter, then you can go ahead and replace any of these 3 attachments for the stock adjustment, and that'll do just fine. The stock adjustment in this game is better than it's ever been, so you guys can go ahead and feel free to replace it with any of these 3 attachments you guys see here on screen. Alright, so for the secondary weapon for this actual class setup, we don't have anything here. We have just a simple combat knife. I think that, the secondaries in this weapon are not all that great. I think that this is a very, assault rifle oriented game. So therefore, there is no need to be running a secondary at the current moment. At least maybe later on in the future if they get buffed, or maybe the SMGs get buffed, you guys can decide to do something different. But for the time being, I think that there really is no reason to run a secondary weapon. So obviously, we don't have any attachments for the combat knife there either. Alright, so moving down, guys, into the wild cards, we only have 2 wild cards. We have primary gunfighter, which allows us to have 3 attachments in our primary weapon, and then we have a wild card 2, which has a perk 3 greed, which will enable us to have 2 perks in the perk 3 slots. So moving down into the perks themselves, we have low profile. This is perhaps the second best perk in the game. It is invisible to UAVs, tracking rounds, and exo ping. This is extremely important, guys. A lot of people are going to be running UAVs in this game, especially since it just came out about 2 weeks ago. So make sure you guys have low profile, because if not, you're gonna find yourself getting killed a lot more times than you normally would if you had low profile. Alright, guys, so moving down into the perk 3 slots of this class setup here, we have toughness and blast suppressor. Now, this is the bread and butter about this weapon. This is the good thing about this class setup. You do not need scavenger in this game. Scavenger is probably one of the most OP perks, one of the most needed perks in this game, because people people in this game take a while to get killed. So obviously you're always gonna be wasting a little bit more bullets than you did, like let's say Call of Duty Ghosts. So you're gonna find yourself needing more bullets a lot more often than you did in Call of Duty Ghosts. So scavenger is very essential, very important in this game. But with this weapon in particular, it's crazy because it prints ammo for you. So little by little it just starts regenerating ammo on its own, so therefore you don't need to have scavenger. So therefore you have an extra slot that you can equip another perk, and therefore we choose toughness. Now, toughness is not as useful as it was in Call of Duty Ghosts, but it's still useful, especially when we're using a weapon like this that it has a 4-round burst when you guys are using 4-round burst weapons, sometimes it is a little bit harder to, to stay on target because you have to focus on two things: tapping the trigger and actually aiming at the same time. So if you guys are getting hit while doing this, your aim could tend to be a little bit off. So therefore you put on toughness so you guys can reduce that, that possibility of you, messing up your aim while trying to get a kill. I know in this gameplay you guys are seeing me run scavenger, but that's because this was like my first game with the weapon and I had completely forgotten that this weapon prints ammo on its own. So therefore now I am telling you here that the best perks for the perk 3 slots for this class setup are toughness and the blast suppressor. Alright, so the last perk on the perk 3 slots here we have is blast suppressor. It says invisible on the minimap when performing exo move. This is a no-brainer. Unless you guys want to be getting killed every 15 or 20 seconds, then fine, you know what, unequipped blast suppressor, because in this game this is the #1 perk. I've said it on my other best class setup videos for this game, which if you haven't seen it, I'll make sure to put the link down in the description below. I've said it there, 95% to 100% of the time you guys will be using your exoskeleton suits, to get from point A to point B. And if you're doing this, you're going to be giving a little ripple on the minimap, to the actual enemy teammates, and they're going to know where you're located. They're going to have a really good idea of where it is that you're at. So if you do not have blast suppressor, it's like you're basically telling people, hey guys, here I am, come kill me. You guys don't want to be doing that. In Call of Duty, especially in this Call of Duty, it's a lot harder to stay alive because everybody's so damn quick. Everybody teleports literally. It's like you have somebody all the way across the map and in 10 seconds they're already where you're at. So in this game, guys, it is really essential to run blast suppressor if you want to stay undercover and at least survive for a little bit longer than you normally do. So make sure you guys equip blast suppressor. Alright, so moving on into the exo ability here, we have exo cloak. Now I don't really use exo abilities that much, but the reason why I'm using exo cloak on this class setup is because it is not a fully automatic weapon, and then there's gonna be some times where you have multiple people coming at you, or you want to kind of be sneaky around them, just because it is not a fully automatic, and it is a lot harder to get multi kills or double triple kills with a weapon that is a 4-round burst weapon as opposed to a fully automatic like the Bal 27. So therefore using the exo cloak can come in handy, because sometimes if there's a room full of people, 2-3 people, you can just use the exo cloak itself, become a little bit harder to watch, or at least a little bit harder to detect, and then obviously take both of the guys or 3 of the guys down effectively. So definitely exo cloak is really important in this class setup. Right, so for the exo launcher, I don't have any exo launcher in this class setup. I think that the grenades are useless. They really are. You could just jump twice and then boost forward, and then that's it. The grenade won't even kill you, because I've done it multiple times. Alright, so moving on to the score streaks here, we have the UAV, the assault drone, and the bombing run. Now these score streaks are based around players that are not as great players as other players out there. If you guys are those type of players that need a little bit more help, and you feel like you cannot go on long kill streaks or score streaks, you guys can go ahead and equip these score streaks here, and probably they work for you. Now the assault drone is the only one that I'm a little bit iffy about, because the bombing run is really good if you place it in the right spot, but the assault drone, it could either go bad for you. Like I've had good games with it, and I've had okay games with it. It all depends, guys. It's the luck of the draw. So if you guys don't want score streaks, if you guys just want to have the UAV like I normally do, you can go ahead and take out the last 2 and just equip, I would say for the perk 1, I would say, lightweight, and then peripherals, for the perk 2 slots, or even not even peripherals. If you guys don't like peripherals, you guys can go ahead and, put gun ho or blind eye, or something like that. It is all up to you guys. So this is it, guys. This is gonna be my best class setup for the IMR. Remember, these classes are completely customizable. They're, you guys can do whatever it is that you guys want. You can use the same exact class that I'm using. You guys can put something different on it. You guys let me know down in the comment section below if you guys use the class setup as is right here on screen, or if you guys change anything, to this class setup, or if you guys have any suggestions for me, leave them in the comment section below, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming back into my channel, watching another best class setup video provided to you by me, myself, and I. Again, guys, thank you guys so much for all the support. My name is HollowPoiint, and I'll see you guys on the next video.